Shooter Breeze topic number 4 tonight. What are your thoughts on what happened to RASHEEM Carter? So I might have heard about this story. This takes us to YouTube. It's a short video. Let's check it out, and then we'll discuss it.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump was in Jackson calling for answers in the mysterious death of a young Fayette man whose remains were found a month after he went missing. 12 News' Leah Williams heard from attorneys who are calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to step in. Leah?
Melanie, the state medical examiner's office was not able to determine a cause of death for 25-year-old RASHEEM Carter. His family believes there was foul play, so their attorney sent a letter to the Department of Justice asking them to get involved. We want to warn you that some of the video is graphic and could be disturbing to some viewers. 25-year-old RASHEEM Carter of Fayette was contracted to work in Smith County last year. Carter went missing in October after texting his mother that his life was in danger.
He said, me and the owner of this company not seeing eye to eye, mama. His name, which I can't say at this time, but if anything happened to me, he's responsible for it. I'm too smart, mama. He got these guys wanting to kill me. And that's what he sent to me.
Attorneys say there was an attempt to use Carter's credit card in Taylorsville while he was missing. A month after his disappearance, some of his remains were found in Smith County.
His head was severed. His vertebrae, his spinal cord was in another spot they discovered away from his severed head. They have recently found remains that they believe are also RASHEEM Carter.
The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office was not able to determine a cause of death because some of Carter's remains were in an advanced station. Attorney Carlos Moore called it one of the most disturbing cases of his lifetime.
I'm a Mississippian for all 46 years of my life, and I've never heard of a crime this horrific in life. I was not living during the time of Emmett Till. I heard about that and read about it in the history books, but I thought we had progressed in Mississippi.
The Smith County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is assisting, but his family says more needs to be done, so attorneys sent a letter asking the U.S. Department of Justice to get involved.
We need the highest levels of law enforcement to administer justice for RASHEEM Carter as if he was your child.
The Smith County Sheriff says he's waiting for the findings from search warrants to come back. He also says he welcomes the involvement of the Department of Justice. I reached out to MBI as well, but the agency declined to comment on this investigation. Melanie, back to you.
Yeah, I kind of heard.
I have been scratching my head.
I kind of heard this story the other day.
Civil rights.
I didn't give it its proper due. So I'm kind of hearing some of it now. And I see Ben Crump is attached. I never really trust that dude, Ben Crump, to be honest. I see earlier, Gasimov says, none of y'all serious. Quit your job. I like Gas. I do, but Gas, I will say that you're welcome to come up and argue your points. What you think is the solution to the problem. You could come up. By the way, Gas, Trigger Happy 262. I'm going to post the video. Yeah, I'm going to post a link in the chat. Trigger Happy 262 under that video right there. In the chat, Trigger Happy 262 had some questions for you about some reading material, so you could feel free to respond to that when you have a chance. The current prompt is: what are your thoughts on what happened to RASHEEM Carter? Let me start with Brother Bakari this time. Bakari, what are your thoughts on what happened to RASHEEM Carter?
It's real foul. I don't know why Ben Crump is there, but that's real foul. I believe when he sent that to his mama, I don't understand. Well, I guess maybe Ben Crump told her, don't say his name on TV or whatever. But the owner of the company, people need to know the owner of that company name. This shit need to be checked. We need to check it. Back to something I was talking about earlier today. We really had one militia that had the time off, right? And could go do this. But black people, for the most part, with their social media, news, who wasn't never around it or a part of it, kind of ran them off. But that is something that needs to be done. And I say again, anywhere in the South, and this young brother was in Mississippi, my home where I'm from. There's nowhere in the South where you can get a gun and walk around with a gun on your side like it's a cowboy, like we're black cowboys. We should not be without our gun with at least 13. I say have an extra clip with you. Like I say, I take 32 friends with me everywhere I go. But there's no way he shouldn't have had one with 13. 12-inch clip, one in the hole. 13 and ready. Because if you bust one or two, don't bust one or two, that would give you time to possibly get away. I don't know why he was still there, but something needs to be done about this. My condolences to that man, to that young brother's family, but the owner of that company name need to go out. But I do know some people who's planning, should be there soon. But the owner of that company, the name of, we need to find the owner of that company. And that's my goal. I want to know what company he worked at so we can get the owner, since they didn't see eye to eye. The goal is to have about 50 of us and see if he would see eye to eye with us and see if they would send the same people at us, because I'm getting sick and tired of these folks. And I'm just being honest. I'm sick and tired of seeing black people die for no reason. This shit got to stop. Ben Crump don't need to be everywhere. I don't know if he got a signal call. I don't know if it's a bug or something inside the black person, but as soon as something happened, well, he's there. He's there. This machine that we're against is a hell of a machine. We're going to have to break this damn machine. We are going to have to break this machine. Black people want to be free. Black people want to be better. We're going to have to break this damn machine. And there's things that we have to do. And once again, keep you some friends with you at all times. And I'm in the South, so I can say it in this legal. Keep you a damn gun with you. I prefer a 9mm. At all times, carry that shit on your side. Everywhere. I don't care if you're walking inside of the grocery store. Have your stuff with you. You and your children together. I don't care if they 5 or 6. I'm just making a suggestion. I ain't telling nobody what to do with their kids. But have your stuff on your side, especially you know what areas you're in, and we know what's going on. Think about it. We know what's going on. And like I mentioned earlier, it was a brother just 20 miles from me, found hanging from a tree. He committed suicide, but they looked inside the car. They could tell it was some type of scuffle. I guess he was scuffling with himself. Just Google lynchings in America since 2000, and they have been going on all over the United States, everywhere. And black men, we haven't come together to get suited and booted and be ready. We would rather follow people on social media talking about they are an engine because their great granny told them that's what they were. Instead of us being serious, we'll still rather have 1 million debates about the Bible, about Islam, about Christianity. I don't give a damn about none of that. You're black and you want to be free. It's time for us to put some of that down, come together, train, get suited and booted, and be ready, because we really can have at least 50 people. We should have at least 50 ready to go down there. We're going to go talk. We, not wait on no damn police, not wait on no damn Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. We go find the fucking owner of that business, and we go talk to them and see if they can do the same thing. I'm just saying. On that, I yield the mic.
I agree with you 100% because you sound like me there with the Bible thing. Put some of that shit down, you understand? And be about something serious. You know, we could worry about that where we go after death later. We gotta deal with life right now. And Nama X and Oni in the chat was saying something interesting. Nama X was saying the Bible tells you what to do when your enemy does something like this. It says eye for an eye. And Oni correctly comes through and says the Old Testament, maybe the New Testament, that Jesus stuff tells you turn the other cheek. That's what MLK then was on. We went down by the Pettus Bridge. We got our ass cut. We gonna go back tomorrow, and hopefully they see us. No, get off of that shit. Get off of that shit. These people don't see your suffering. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. Nama X acknowledges New Testament is just England wanting the slave to do nothing to them. Unfortunately, our people don't believe in the Old Testament like they should if they want to believe in religion so badly. Trigger Happy 262, thanks, Oni, for the book. He just downloaded it. That's good. I like to see it. Let's go to Carl. Carl, what say you? What are your thoughts on what happened to RASHEEM CARTER?
RASHEEM CARTER was lynched. This was a lynching by any other name. You know, he told his mother what was going on, and maybe he felt like he had to work his job. He didn't have a choice. But yeah, he was lynched. You know, to find his head severed, his spinal column dismembered, it really brings back the memories of the lynchings that happened in this country all throughout the 19th and 20th century. You know, we hear about black people being burned alive, being boiled in oil, shot to death, castrated, all type of other horrible tortures, and many lynchings. And they gave the reason for the lynching of, you know, protecting white womanhood. You know, the black man was a rapist, but in reality, you know, many times it was just lynching black people for no reason at all, for them standing up for themselves, for them owning a business, for them having a weapon, for just for them having some land that the white people wanted, they would kill you for it. So, you know, this young man was lynched. It's obvious he was lynched. Um, they bring in Crump because Crump has the ability to get a financial settlement. You know, he has the ability to get the money. Not so much justice, but he can get the money. I'm kind of tired of seeing him too. He's become the go-to guy, you know, to talk about these issues, but you know, he's not really going to get justice. The family's going to get paid, but they're not going to get justice. How can you get justice for your child being murdered like this? I don't want to say what I would do, but I can't imagine my child being murdered like this, and you don't know what happened. You know, or you guess what happened, you can't prove it, and you know they just find their head and their body somewhere in the woods. You know, so my heart goes out to this mother, his family, and his loved ones. Um, we have to organize as a people for our self-defense because we're not safe here. We're not safe in this country. We're not safe in this world. Um, you know, we go kicking some doors to what we got to do because we're not safe as a people. If any time that one of us can be hurt like this, can be murdered like this, and we have to ask the Department of Justice, there's no justice in this country. There hasn't been for hundreds of years. What are we talking about? You know, they're going to send some federal investigators. What are they going to do? What was the young man they found his body rolled up in a mat in Georgia? What did the Department of Justice do for that? Nothing. So, you know, I understand this woman is grieving and she wants to go through the proper legal channels, but I'm afraid she's not really going to get the justice she seeks for her son. And I'm sorry that that's happening. Yeah, we're going to have to organize and really understand that this lynching never stops. It's not a historical event. It's still ongoing. You know, what happened with the brother in the one who was jogging, Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia? That was a lynching. It was a public murder. They shot this man. They killed him in broad daylight. And if it wasn't for the persistence of his mother, nothing would have happened because the entire establishment was set up to where they weren't going to do anything. And I guess they're trying to bring that type of pressure, that type of attention to her Rashid case. The same, you know, information that got the people who murdered Ahmaud Arbery. The only thing is that they had video in this case. We don't have the video here because had they not had that video, nothing would have happened to the crackers. Nothing. They would have got off scot free. So I hope that, you know, whatever information she has, I hope she gets it. But we're not safe. We're not safe, and we have to really sit back, organize politically, organize with our weaponry, military training, whatever, because we're not safe. And they want us not to be safe. They want us to be able to touch us with impunity and kill us at will if we don't bow down to them. And I believe this young man, he stood up for himself. He might have had some verbal disagreements. I mean, I've had disagreements with my supervisor before. I haven't worried about him killing me. So I mean, this whole situation is fishy. So they need whatever whoever this person's name is, they need to look into it. I know he knows more information he's letting on, but I'm pretty sure he's probably connected with local authorities in the area that gave him the ability to feel comfortable to threaten this young man's life. So I'm just really concerned if they're going to get bogged down with a bunch of red tape and the authorities in the area. They're not going to work to try to get this young man's killers brought to justice. It's just a tragedy. And we have to be more aware that lynching is not a thing of the past, like I was saying before. It's still ongoing. Whenever we see these police videos, it's a lynching. It's a public murder done in broad daylight, and you're powerless to do anything about it. They want you to think you're powerless. We're not powerless, but we have to take our power back. So I'm going to yield the mic. It's just a tragic situation. I hope they get justice.
I appreciate that, Carl. In the chat, I hope you guys are paying attention. Oni is dropping some book links, The Art of War. Earlier, he dropped Fighting the Slave Trade. So you guys hit those Google links. Gassimup says something I can't disagree with. He says, run away from America. Like, this is what you're going to... Our future generations are going to have to really consider this shit in America. You have to get out of here. Lero says something interesting, too. She says, we need to be building black repatriation orgs, right? She said black liberation is a farce. It's African or ape. She says to be in retreat is to withdraw from enemy forces. You might have to get out of the clutches of these folks here. Real talk. Tanzan, what say you?
Yeah, it's tragic what happened to him. Definitely. It's all a fuss. There's so much obviously unanswered questions that that it's not just the people who did it, but people who are covering up. So it's a whole what they call a minor conspiracy. So, but the sad thing is that it's not even a surprise anymore. Like you hear these things happening, and you almost inure to it because it happens so much. So I do feel sad, and like we said, but without this high level people who bring attention to the fact, would we know it otherwise if this Crump guy was not jumping about? Yes, he's an opportunist, probably an ambulance chaser and all that, but how would we know otherwise that these things are happening? So I'm not ennobling his profession. I'm just saying that otherwise these things happen probably more often than we know of. So I think it is good that it's brought to the attention of people, even though there may be some other motives to it. Now about people leaving, it's hard pretty much everywhere, and I think that people should move about. People not necessarily leave and go and make a drastic change, but people should be able to move about from country to country. Like on the continent, people didn't stay in one place. Tribes moved from place to place. If one place was not working, then you had the freedom to go somewhere else. Like I said, with the people with the bad water, like if the water is bad, try exploring other places in the country, even if you have to find somewhere within, where there's some good water, just if that is possible, even if you have to have one person move in there. So I think that's one thing. Obviously, it's not going to solve the problem because everything is pretty much, in the same, just in different degrees. But yeah, it's a shame what happened to him. I do feel, I feel bad for him, and I would hope that yes, in dealing with some people, you should always have, not just telling someone you should have gone there with someone, and I don't know the circumstances about it and so on, so I can't really say, but I'm sure he felt that he was in some kind of danger, and he tried to, to warn somebody about it. It's just that it's sad that it didn't really, save his life. So, yeah, I feel bad about that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tanzan. Only thanks for posting those books in the chat. Keep them coming if you have more. But what are your thoughts on RASHEEM Carter?
Yes, I didn't know about this. I remember Brother Bakari was saying, the brother in Michigan who in Mississippi who got decapitated, and I was like, who got decapitated? So like what? So now I see what he's talking about. And yeah, that's that's the thing though. Like, one thing we gotta know, Tis, is that sometimes people know when shit's about to go down. Sometimes when shit's about to go down, and you should trust your instinct. I think it was Brother Bakari said, you gotta have your piece on you. If you're in the South, you gotta have your piece on you. I don't know what's happening here. I think Brother Bakari said some people trying to figure out what I don't know. That's like this is bad. But he called his mother. He said, we're not seeing eye to eye. Like this is unfortunate for him. Like I don't really have much to say. Like you said, I don't know why Ben Crump is there, but I like what Brother Bakari was saying. So I would just say, if anybody really want to listen, listen to what Brother Bakari was saying, because that's serious. These people just can't. If they want smoke, I think it was somebody said, yeah, if they want smoke, they should know there's fire. Come with it. You know what I mean? That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Oni. Lero in the chat says, condolences to the brother's family. This was definitely a lynching. Wish he was able to drop his location or something. Trigger Happy 262 says, I think most people here agree with repatriation besides a few. So you would have been speaking to the choir. Gas them up. Says, we good. It's the other person in the panel that I am diametrically gonna just consistently, whatever that says. But is there any other last thoughts on this prompt before we move on? Bakari,
I have
anyone else?
I have a thought on this. I'm not opposed to repatriation, but logistically speaking, how is that going to work? There's over 40 million Black people in the United States just alone. Realistically speaking, how would that work? How would you get 40 million people from the United States to Africa? Where in Africa would they go? We're talking about uprooting people who've been someplace for 3, 4, 500 years. I'm not against it. I support it. In fact, I'm going to Ghana with my brother and my sister next year, just to visit, but maybe to stay soon. But just logistically speaking, how would that work?
Carl, I think that's the thing, right? I think those are the conversations that we're not having. We're not answering that question per se, right? But I like what Lero, and I knew D-Web was out there, was going to say something to this one, right? The idea is that you really ain't going to get all 40 million, right? You just got to get who you're going to get. Webb will tell you 40 million people ain't leaving, and you don't want 90% of those people coming anyway. So you got to get who you can get. The rest who stay back, unfortunately, Kyle, I hate to say I'm going to use D-Web's terminology. A lot of them guys, a lot of those folks, we can't afford it. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but and we're not talking tomorrow. We're talking eventually, bit by bit, we got to start going back. So it's not 40 million people at once or 20 million people at once or whatever. But bit by bit, we got to be working towards getting some resources while we're here and getting up out of here. Even the Caribbean is too close probably, but even if you go there first, I mean, we gotta this shit here, and I know it's hard because, like you said, it's 400 or 500 years here, and a lot of people don't know anything else. But I know it's hard. But when you think about the idea that you are killed here, you are lynched, you are gunned down, because of your race here, you're better off in a place where at least the police, what's the guy, the police chief, the governor, the mayor of that town, whatever, is a black guy, and he, they ain't gonna gun you down the way this shit is working out here. That's my only thing I can say to that. But Carl, go ahead.
Hey, can I say part of the reason I think a lot of people don't go?
Go ahead, Bagari.
Stay. And I think, if they can get still keep an address here. But a lot of the reason, especially people that had like government jobs and retired, like say military, for instance, you do know most African countries, if they go, they don't get their full benefits that they have retired for.
Wow, that's
yes, you get them if you go to Europe. But I think if they go to Africa, I think it's like, God damn it. Because that's what I get. But part of it is not, I ain't retired from the military, but I'm just saying. But like at one time, I know it was like they might get half, or maybe not even half. Let's say people that retired and get $4,000 a month, right? If they go to Africa, let's say they go to Nigeria, it won't be 4,000 US dollars, right? It might be 1,000 US dollars, whatever, 4,000, however many dollars. Yeah, that's what you might get, and that's part of the problem, that you have been here, and they do it for a reason. Now you are allowed to go to Europe, and you can go to Asia, and you can keep all of your benefits. But there's a lot of African countries this government would not let you keep your benefits. So that's part of the reason they have created something to keep a lot of people stuck. People that really want to go and don't, like I see Go Black to Africa go a lot. So, and I heard him say he's retired military. So he probably still have him an address here, but he can't go and be full-time and just go stay in Africa and keep all of his full benefits. He can't. Not where he's going. He just can't. They're not going to give it to him.
I did not know that. Ain't that some shit? These guys have this shit. Wow, I did not know that.
Hey, let me say this, Norma. Hey, I understand what you're saying. Money can't be the only deciding factor. But what I'm saying is, if somebody have given this crooked ass country 20 years of their life, and now you get your retirement, let's say I'm going to use E7. You get your retirement, you retire E7 after 20 years. You're E7. So that's like, I say you probably be getting about $3,000 to $2,500, $3,000 a month, right? So everybody who do that much time is getting disability. So total, all in all, you getting about $5,000, $6,000 a month in retirement benefits that you have. Some people put your life on the line for, right? Everybody have. Even me, when I didn't retire, but even me, when I told them I wouldn't go to Kuwait and I refused to go to war for this country, I took my chances. But even me, and I didn't go to war, but when they send me to Korea, and they didn't tell me this till I got there, where I was stationed, my life expectancy if war broke out was 8 minutes. So if you have done 20 years and have put your life on the line for this rabid ass country and everything that they have done for you, I do have an understanding of somebody saying, I don't want to just, you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to just leave my benefits, all my health benefits free for me and my wife. You understand, if that makes sense? I'm not saying money is everything, but you are leaving everything unless you can do like Go Black, have a address in both places. I'm just saying. I was just throwing it out there, part of the reason.
You know how they have and folks here mightn't be interested, but you know how they have these folks who make these like tours, and they say, I think Brandon from Pan African Strikes Back was doing this. Have these like these group retreats. That's something. If someone was around here who did that stuff, I would be interested. I wish all of us could go and check Ghana or something. Check out somewhere in West Africa together and just see how it is, and kind of just commune and build off of our experiences there. Trigger Happy 262 says something interesting. He says, see, that's the thing for me. I don't agree with the idea that we should just let our people die too, but Pan-Africanism, those who are useful, need to build Africa as possible as a superstate. Yeah, I agree with you, Trigger. I don't say that lightly. But I like everyone here knows, the majority of our people, D-Web said it, Lero said it, I think Bakari would say it, Oni would say it, I would say it. Like, we know that most of our people out here would not go back. And, what else can I do for you? But you're right. If you have power, right? If you have nationhood, you might could confer some protection to folks if you have power. That's the best bet that we can have. Marcus Garvey's way says, what FBA saying about this? Because they built this, so what are they saying? The FBA moniker ain't bullet or lynch proof clearly, right? I think Tanzan stepped away. Gasimov says $1,000 a month in Nigeria is middle class. I was thinking about that when Bakari was saying. I was thinking, if you still could get $1,000 US in a lot of African countries, I think that's still something significant. There's a lot of comments. Marcus McGee says he'd go back in a heartbeat. Lero says we can organize a trip ourselves if we really wanted to. Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. Like, it'd be nice if we, do that thing where people put their money down, save up, and everyone hop a plane and get up out of here. Now, we can't let the folks know that we're all going the same, that we're all hanging out at the same time. But yeah, it's something to think about. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. I don't know. Did I get everyone on this?
Can I say one more thing before you slide on, before you go on?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead, Bagari.
All of us, let's just say I'm going to be honest. If we was to say repatriate out of 40, 45 million black people, I'm going to be honest, I believe it would be around 5 to 10 million, right? If we truly about Pan-Africanism in building ourselves and building the continent, and I'm something like, and want to take care of our people, we don't all have to go to the same country either. We can still stay in touch. Some can go to Ghana, some can go to Nigeria. You understand what I'm saying? Some can go to Gambia, go to Senegal. We can spread ourselves throughout the continent. We don't have to just go to one country. That's because I just know when my mama went, I didn't get to go. I was in the military and I couldn't. But I know when my mama went and she did 3 months, a month in Ghana, a month in Gambia, a month in Senegal. And her exact words when we talked, she say if she had gone to Africa before she had kids in America, she would have never come back. All of her children would have been born in Africa. She said she just would have never come back.
Very interesting. Now your mom did the only thing, man. 3 months in the continent. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Bobby Wright in the chat says Dynast conducts tours regularly to West Africa, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana. I see Gasimov says tours is a scam. I'm not necessarily talking about tours in that way, but I think it'd be nice for people who are serious about this thing to hit the continent as a group and really like take it in and see where we can fit in, where we can do our thing. Trick Happy says do a panel to have this discussion would be good. He says it's also somewhat lazy to just say everyone is doomed. But in an urgent situation, all pioneers need to be in Africa building it to a superstate. I agree with that. Lero says if you want to leave, you should plan for it with others who want to do the same. Very simply, the rest is irrelevant. Yeah, I agree with those things. I think it's something that's the next step for me personally. I've watched the different people Dynast. I watched Brandon from Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. I've seen our very own Cassandra Cheek go to the continent, go to East Africa. I've seen our very own Oni do it most recently, 3 months on the continent. So yeah, that's my next step. Don't be surprised if I don't do Shoot the Breeze from the continent one day soon. That's my next step. But yeah, that's something we should get real serious about talking about and thinking about. So if you guys have ideas about that, shoot them to me. and we could build on it. With that said, since there's no more comments, let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 5 tonight. Shout out to Buano, who's not here tonight. You know he's a regular, but he has a wedding that he's attending. Shout out to Uzuli and Gas and all you guys out in the chat who are making the conversation robust and nice. I appreciate all of you. Lero says tap in with her. I appreciate all you guys. Uzuli, don't be talking shit from the chat. Hop on and defend what you're saying. All right.